Hello, let me tell you when black excellence is diminished, how Hillsong Church undermines the very people it claims to serve. For years, I entered this church believing that God's house was the place where excellence transcends race, where gifting, integrity, and calling are honored regardless of skin color. But my experience in this church, particularly in Stellenbosch, revealed a reality that stands in painful contrast to this ideal. A culture where black excellence is not merely overlooked, but deliberately suppressed, undermined, and devalued. This is not speculation, this is lived truth. A church that praises excellence, as long as it is white, by any objective measure, I am academically and spiritually more qualified than the entire local team combined, the local leadership team combined. I have invested years into theological study, biblical analysis, and spiritual discipline. Yet none of this mattered because I am black. Instead of honoring my calling, my dear pastor repeatedly asked me to clean her toilets, pack the chairs, not as a voluntary act of service which any believer should be willing to offer, but as my permanent role. Meanwhile, individuals with little to no training walked in and were immediately ushered into leadership. Their main qualification, whiteness. They trust white ignorance more than black excellence. One of the clearest indicators of racism is a refusal to learn from black people. And at Hillsong Stellenbosch, this refusal is absolute. White members with no theological groundings are encouraged to teach. Black members with training, depth, and knowledge are silenced. White opinions are taken as revelation. Black insights are treated as disruption. I sat in Bible studies and sermons, listening to superficial teachings, cut and paste from the internet, while my own specialized training in biblical interpretation was disregarded. Not because it lacked value, but because it came from a black man, black mind. This racism happens at the heart of Stellenbosch University. Perhaps what makes this experience more telling is where it happens, or where it happened. Hillsong Stellenbosch operates inside Stellenbosch University facilities. It draws congregants, volunteers, and even leaders from within the institution. And yet, within this environment, one of the most influential academic spaces in South Africa, black excellence is still undermined and treated as secondary. The irony is painful. I am a product of the Stellenbosch University. I embody the academic excellence of the university prides itself on. Yet inside the church that uses university space, my excellence was treated as irrelevant. White mediocrity from the same environment was celebrated. This tells a much deeper story. The church's racial blind spots are not separate from the universities. They feed each other. The same culture that historically excluded and diminished black scholars is mirrored in the church that occupies its buildings. The proximity between the two institutions makes the undermining even more symbolic. Where excellence should thrive most, racism disguised as church culture suppresses it the hardest. No, then my memoir will tell the full story. St. Matthew, the first gospel of the Bible. St. Matthew, the writer, he worked with Jesus for 3.5 years and produced a gospel with 28 chapters. I worked with the Hofmeyers, or Pastor Hofmeyers, so to speak, and the system surrounding them for more than 3.5 years. My memo will expose chapter after chapter of racial undermining, exclusion, gaslighting, weaponizing servanthood, enforced silence, and the rejection of black gifting. Something to look forward to. Out of truth-telling, perhaps accountability too. Now, because systems don't change when people stay quiet. Black people in that church at the center of the university, I expected to serve, not lead. I even asked the other time how did they explain all white leadership when they were claiming that it's a diverse church. Black people are placed in labor roles. White people are placed in leadership roles. Black excellence is inconvenient. White incompetence is protected. This is not the gospel. This is a racial hierarchy dressed in worship lights. I speak for those still silenced. I write for every black congregant who has felt the humiliation of being underestimated in God's house. For every person asked to serve while others are allowed to soar. For every black mind treated as a threat instead of a blessing. Because the truth must be told. The church has been hijacked by racial politics, white comfort, and leaders who refuse accountability. And I will emphasize again, whiteness is not divine. Neither is blackness. All men were created equal. And in the heart of Stellenbosch University, one of South Africa's most powerful institutions, that reality becomes even clearer. But the truth is out now, and truth never returns empty. I thank you.